You know what it takes to be a creator and to make that leap, to pursue what you're really, really passionate about, and to get that courage and to finally put your work out there, and the amount of years, literal years it takes to actually hone our skills. And you also know very well what it feels like when you finally take that piece, share it on social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook, and see year by year those social media companies not really giving a damn about us as creators. So when Instagram finally announced that they are no longer a photography platform, surprise, surprise, I didn't really quite care, because at this point I was a part of something much, much bigger. At this point, I was a part of this NFT Twitter family, and let me tell you, no amount of viral hitting posts will ever come close to the love and support and help I get to receive from you. Before we're going to jump in, some housekeeping rules first. So this video is not about how to mint your NFT collection. I'm sure there are some better resources out there, so please go and check them out. This video is about my personal journey into NFTs. How I went from not really knowing what is blockchain, let alone MetaMask, gas, Gwei, airdrops, etc., to actually figuring out what my collection is going to be all about, figuring out all ins and outs of the whole minting process, and even making my very first sale. So what I'm hoping you're gonna get out of this video is that it's gonna be a little bit entertaining, a little bit informative, and hopefully fun. Definitely hopefully fun. So let's just jump in. So the very first question I had to ask myself is whether I'm going to be using the existing work that I already have, or I'm going to get out there and shoot new images. And to be honest, the question or the answer was actually very, very simple. I, as a photographer, have been in this kind of business for quite some time, and I do have a very large portfolio of work, but I physically and personally felt like none of this work is actually representative of my current skill set. So with this very new space, I felt like I'm going to use this opportunity to get out there and shoot my bestest work to my bestest ability, both on location and in the editing room. And I really wanted to put a timestamp on my work of where I am as a photographer right now, and this is the way. Pose. I can't, this is so weird. One-on-ones or sets? The answer here was very simple for me. For the longest time ever, I really wanted to create a larger body of work that will not only represent my skill set, but also will showcase who I am as a photographer, show my personality. That was like super important to me. And I love colors. I love looking at colors. They make me happy. And I feel like when everyone else is looking at colors, it makes them happy too. And for the longest time ever, I was fascinated with night photography, and what is awesome about it, when you shoot at night, you concentrate at light sources, you shoot at them, and I decided to concentrate at colors that I see at night, aka colors I see if you must. You get the drift. So what I decided to do here is to test my knowledge to the bestest ability, to pave the streets of Tallinn for weeks during cold nights, and instead of just relying on beautiful scenery or beautiful backdrops, actually push for story, composition, angles, lighting to my bestest ability. And I'm not gonna lie, there were times when wind was so brutal at night that I would rather take 5 hot showers or just go under the blanket instead of getting out there and shooting again.
It is so bloody windy. What is going on? Weather. I just want to take pictures. Oh my God. Oh, I have tears. That's how windy it is.
But what is most important here is that I had this fire, this excitement of exploring streets at night and colors and finally finding who I am as a photographer. And that fire just kept on fueling, and I just kept going out there and I just kept at it, and it just felt super awesome. For once. Opensea versus Foundation. I'm not going to speak here for the larger NFT world, but I feel like there are two main platforms that are very popular among photographers. Foundation is primarily used for one-on-one NFTs, and it prefers an auction sale over fixed price. Opensea is much friendlier towards larger collection and prefers fixed price over an auction sale. I mean, both platforms are really great, and as far as crypto world goes, they are as straightforward and as user-friendly as they can be. Personally, I went with Opensea because of the two factors. A, I was creating a larger collection and I felt like it was the perfect fit between the platform and my collection. But most importantly, money was the deciding factor. You see, I'm a freelance gig photographer, and the last couple of years were not really sunshine and rainbows when it comes to getting work. And on Opensea, when you create your account, you pay one transaction fee, and that allows you to upload all your work for sale. Whereas on Foundation, you have to mint every single image separately and use a transaction fee, which is better known as gas, to mint your work and also put it up for sale. So you do the math. I mean, this is by no means a definitive guide. At this current state, there are a lot of conversations happening in this space in regards to whether each creator should have a smart contract and which platform is best to facilitate that, etc., etc. If you do have those questions, what I can recommend is just jump on Twitter Spaces and ask those questions, because this community here is one of the friendliest, most supportive community that I've came across on socials. Trust me, you will be fine. Before I'm going to jump any further, I feel like I need to expand a little bit on what type of shooter I am and what kind of approach I had when building this collection. Again, this approach has really worked for me, might not necessarily work for you, so see it for yourself. At the very beginning, all I knew is that I want to shoot at night and I want to shoot colors. So I gave myself all the freedom and all the time in the world to get out there as often as I needed to and spend as long as I needed to, which meant that if I had to go to the same spot, to the same street for 3 nights in a row, then I could do that. Or if that night I wanted to concentrate on one composition, shoot it from the same corner for 3 hours in a row, then that's what's up. And the whole name and the theme and the individual names of my pieces came together actually in the editing room when I was like listening to my playlist and intimately working out my images. And there were so many times when I just felt like this collection, the whole idea is never gonna come together. But it did. It only took some time. And I know there is this feeling that Twitter and the space is moving at light speed. I get that. And you really want to get your collection out there as soon as you can. But trust me, take your time. Otherwise, it might really hurt you later. Think like a collector. The NFT world grows fast, and that is doubly true when it comes to NFT photographers. Collectors are literally bombarded by thousands of choices on a daily basis, so try to keep that in mind when you're putting your collection together. And I did quite a bit of research before starting my collection. I went through quite a big fair share of different collections, and these are some of the points that I took out of it. When it comes to naming your collection, try to give the name that is going to give some context to your pictures. I personally find that 1-2 word names tend to stick a little bit better in my head, or a slightly longer phrases such as "where did my Vans go" or "through the other side." They add a little bit more depth to your collection and therefore they stand out even more. Be extremely picky when it comes to finalizing your collection. Right now, at this moment, it feels like 30-piece collection is a very trendy thing to do. And at the beginning, I also had a collection where I had 30 pieces, but after taking my time and being extremely honest and harsh about my work, I decided that 5 images, as beautiful as they were, just didn't quite belong to this collection. So I feel like my personal philosophy here is that you should be looking at your collection, at your individual photograph, as well as the whole collection, whether it works together. And me taking out those 5 images just made this whole collection much, much tighter. And as difficult as it was for me to make this decision, I'm very happy that I did it. Roadmaps. There are some very strong personal feelings and opinions about whether you should have one. Personally, I think that roadmap gives you this opportunity to talk a little bit more about what type of creator you are and a little bit more about your work. And the good thing about roadmaps is that there are no rules how to create one. So the best way to go about it is just to go and check out how other creators have created their roadmaps, and maybe that's going to spark some ideas in your head. At least that's how I approached creating my roadmap for the Colors AC collection. So bottom line is, if there is anything that can add an extra context to either yourself or to your work, use it. And I urge you at least to think about it. Just to mention something that I didn't even think is going to be a question is what sort of quality the image that you're minting should be. Opensea recommends 1K image, and you can add a high resolution photograph as an extra downloadable to the NFT. And that in essence dissuades any right-click save and steal your work, palaver. However, I'm of the thinking that the NFT itself should be of the highest resolution, so that when any of my collectors who has bought my work and decides to print it, which would make me very, very happy, has absolutely everything that they need to do that. And that's it. Price. Basically, when it comes to NFT space, there are two schools of thought when it comes to pricing your work. First one is that you create an ongoing collection, which basically means that you are releasing your collection in small batches and you keep your price low, extremely low, and you increase your price as the demand for your work increases. And the whole idea behind it is that you attract early collectors. There is very little downside for them since the price is very, very low. Another approach, which I find is a little bit more traditional, is that you gather all the hours that you have put into creating this collection and all other resources, and basically you take that number and you divide it by the number of the shots that are in your collection, and that more or less should give you an average floor price. And it's up to you as a creator to decide whether you're gonna go with that, but that's at least a very good starting point. I want to emphasize that nobody can tell you what you should be pricing your work at, and nobody will ever do that for you. It is your job to figure it out, but trust me, it's gonna get easier the more you do it. Environment. Look, I deeply care about the environment. Is our home, it's my house, and it seems like no matter what I do, my house is constantly on fire, and it's crazy. But I also feel like we as a society just owe it to ourselves to just be better. And yes, Ethereum blockchain, which is the main NFT blockchain right now, at its current stage is definitely a part of a problem. I'm not sure how big of a part of a problem, but they definitely are. And I also know that this space and this community is making some active changes in order to change this whole thing around. For example, Ethereum blockchain is no longer the only space where you can mint and sell your NFTs. There are some real low emission layer 2 solutions available right now at this minute. One of such examples is a partnership between Opensea and Immutable X, which offers or promises gas-free transactions on their platform, and we should keep tweeting at them for some updates right now. What I really love about crypto is that the people here are overflowing with passion, and for once we're at the stage where large corporations, investment banks and other planet-caring industries are playing catch-up. And right now this space is going to be developed where the community is. And we are, my friends, the community. We are gonna make it. Listen, I've been a photographer for over 5 years, and I have successfully worked with quite big brands on big collaborations, and I've created content for different companies. So all I'm trying to say here is that I have been paid for my work. But I always wondered, how would I feel if there is one human being on this planet that would connect enough with my work in order to buy it? And oh my God, what a roller coaster of emotions it was. And in order to paint it a little bit better for you, let me just tell you the story from the beginning. The day when I have finished my collection, I was minting it and I was having this gut-punching, butterfly-wrenching feeling in my guts. I was excited, but I was nervous. I didn't know if anyone was going to connect with my work. Have I done enough in order to be noticed? Like, all those doubtful questions were in my head. I was excited, but I was also wiped. And before going to bed, I just decided to have a quick glance at my collection again, just to make sure that I have my names right, that the numerical order is correct. And as I was going through the images, I noticed that one image had an Ethereum sign to it, which basically meant that somebody has bought my work. It turned out that there is a fellow photographer from Toronto who connected to my piece enough in order to buy it, and honestly, I just could not believe that this was happening to me. I got up from bed, I went to the kitchen, I had a shot. I never had a shot. I was half crying, half laughing, recording a video, and I just, I usually don't do that, but I sent it to him just saying like, mate, you just changed my life, you just changed the whole thing. And I just could not believe that somebody bought my vision, my creation, my piece, and and I wish you all to experience that, because it's awesome. And I love you loads. And as always, I'm Classic Polly, and I will see you in my next video. Shot. Somebody bring me a shot.